Everyone is on the internet, whether it be a tablet, smartphone, or computer. In the changing technology environment, it is important to be aware of the internet because of how much information you are providing that is tracked or being monitored. A year ago, I tried to rid myself of many social media such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter when I had it for a very short time period. I had gotten into the topic of how fast the internet has taken over our culture, and I wanted to avoid the negatives such as little privacy of being on the internet. I still to this day try to remain aware of technology usage. There are two categories of privacy that are monitored and tracked: personally identifying information and non-personally identifying information. Let's begin with the personally identifying information. Personally identifying information is things such as your social security number, your driver's license number, account numbers, or passport numbers, like bank account numbers as well. Social networks have vastly increased the amount of personally identifiable information out there. Many disclose large amounts of personally identifiable information without probably actually knowing it. There's third-party users that provide advertisements on web pages, and they track viewing habits of first-party servers via cookies, which is a tracking mechanism. The third-party users have largely been on these social media sites where plenty of information about people is located. Krishnamurthy and Will stated in their paper on the leakage of personally identifiable information via online social networks in 2001 that due to the longer lifetime of tracking cookies, if the identity of the person is established even once, the aggregators could internally associate the cookies with the identity. This means that once you're identified, they can put together the pieces of information about you, they can figure out who you are. Identity fraud happens more often than we think because of the internet and this information getting out. So protect yourself. Be aware of the information that you're making easily available to people. There's whatever abilities you have to block the leakage of this personally identifiable information is: 1, don't put any information on the web, which we all know that's hard not to put any information on the web. But what you can do is you can be selective about the information that you put on various websites. Now let's move on to the less dangerous, non-personally identifying information. There are cookies, as earlier discussed. Cookies are involved and are used to monitor people online. The cookie is a file. It stores data about browsing behaviors. It's an advertiser's dream. For example, if I get on my phone and I am going onto Amazon and I'm shopping for shoes, for example, I'm looking at a semi-specific variety of shoes, I can assure you that within later that night or the next day, I can see advertisements on the side of the page or on the bottom of the page that are giving out other websites where there's shoes that are like the variety that I've been looking at. Also, for example, there's a funny story about my dad. He actually strategically uses this to his advantage. He puts his items when he's online shopping in the shopping cart for extended periods of time because he knows that they're monitoring how long that they're in that cart for, and whether it be months later, he 9 times out of 10 will receive a coupon involving that specific item. The most non-personal identifiable information gathered is what sites you visit. They monitor the date and time of each arrival and exit on a web page. Other examples, they look at device type, local time, or even referring sites, what brought you to that site. This information is only used for advertisements that you see on the web pages, just to get more of a match to your taste. This increases product relevance, which is not necessarily a bad thing for companies. Maybe you've even used the ads that have appeared on your page to buy other products, such as the products that you were already looking at. But here's the good part. As earlier noted, some third-party cookies have the possibility of identifying or accessing your identity, and although this is incredibly scary and we all hope that this never happens, know that advertisers are legally not allowed to use the personal identifying information. They may only use the non-identifying information. In conclusion, in the changing technology environment, it is important to be aware of the internet and everything that's going on, especially with your personal privacy, because much of the information you provide can be used by other parties. Members of the IEE, along with Smith and Stufflebeam, found that through research in IEE Transactions on Engineering Management, Volume 52 in May of 2005, that a notable discrepancy between what privacy policies are currently stating and what users deem most significant. This means that people think that they're getting certain privacies, but it's not actually matching up with what actually is happening with our privacy. So, once again, there's two types of internet privacy: the personally identifying information and the non-personally identifying information. Get out there on the web and look into the laws and the privacy policies, especially the website policies. They will probably surprise you. It's better to be safe than sorry when it comes to your identity. I'll end with something to think about. Facebook's privacy policy, which was last updated in January of 2015, and found through Facebook's website, said that when you download or use such third-party services, such as apps or games, they can access your public profile, which includes your username, your user ID, your age range, the country and language, your list of friends, as well as any information that you share with them. Information selected by these apps, websites, or integrated services is subject to their own policies, or their own terms and policies. That's the kicker. Not only do they have the access to your public profile, which we all put a lot of information on, the third parties have their own policies as well. And that's something that we should really think about.